Welcome to another episode of Chappy Hour. I'm your host, Chloë Chapdelaine, and today we have a new guest on the show. Welcome, Kendall.
Thanks.
Kendall is one of my really good friends. I met Kendall on Bumble or through Bumble a few years ago, probably a couple years ago now. And since then, we have been to Italy together. We recently did a trip that was a girls' trip, and it was so much fun. We had a good old time.
The best time ever, truly.
Yeah, it was. And I wish we could go back to that every day.
Same.
Yeah, but I'm really excited to have Kendall on the show. Kendall, tell us a little bit about yourself. So you sat down at a bar and somebody knows nothing about you. How would you introduce yourself?
I am 22. I'm originally from Sask, but I moved here for school and loved it, so I decided to stay. I'm an architectural technologist full-time, and on the side, I'm a travel agent.
She's a little smarty pants. And if you need to book travels, you need to book Kendall because she booked our trip to Italy and it was the most thorough, best itinerary I've ever seen in my entire life. I've been on lots of trips that are group trips that are really intensive in terms of activities. And this was like the best itinerary I'd ever seen, like most well planned. We had no issues the entire time. So
I am a Virgo, so
she's your girl.
It's just in my blood.
Yeah, so we are going to get started with the show. So cheers! Welcome to Chappy Hour. It's kind of like happy hour, but with me, Chloë Chapdelaine, where I catch up with a friend over drinks. It doesn't need to be 5 o'clock to join, so grab your favorite drink, sit back, relax, and let's get started. Cheers. We are getting started on the show, but first we're going to start with the drink we are drinking. And this is a drink I've actually never tried before until Kendall recommended it for on the show. So I went out and bought most of the ingredients and then I made do with what I had at home. It is a Dirty Shirley. And that's kind of like a Shirley Temple, but better.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to explain the Dirty Shirley?
So basically, it's just Sprite, grenadine, lots of grenadine. We figured out tonight, and vodka to make it like a Dirty Shirley. I was obsessed with Shirley Temples as a kid, so it just made sense, like once I turned 18, to upgrade to the Dirty Shirley.
It's really good. And I also added a fresh squeeze of orange juice from an orange I had in my fridge to this one. And I dried my own grapefruits and I put a grapefruit on top.
So
just
fancy.
For added effect. And we had straws, but my straws are really floppy and they fell out. So we're just drinking it straight out the glass. It's a good one, but we are going to start with the I'll Take a Double section of the show. And this is a section where we share our life hack because we like to start off strong. And we both have life hacks that fit into the same category for the show today. And I think that it's kind of fun because they kind of play into you being basically a travel agent.
Yeah.
So why don't you start with your life hack?
Okay, so mine I learned from my mom. She's been doing it since I can remember. Whenever we're traveling and pre-picking seats, she would pick an aisle seat and a window seat in a row that had no seats selected already, so that like the hope is nobody picks that middle seat, so then you have the whole row just to like 2 people. And honestly, it's worked more times than not, so would highly recommend that.
That's super cool. And it's worked for you personally?
It has. I was in Mexico like 2 weeks ago and it worked there and back.
Okay, I really like that idea, but I think I'd be really scared of somebody booking the middle seat and then I'm like awkwardly separated from whoever I'm traveling with.
That's valid, but we have ran into that, and like that person is just as awkward being in the middle, so you can give them the option of the aisle or the window and they will probably gladly switch.
Oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Mine actually has to do with checking into a seat as well. So my travel hack, and I think it's something that not a lot of people know, but to me it feels like common sense, is when you get check-in for your flight, it's usually 24 hours before your flight, immediately go and check in.
Yes.
Like the second that it opens. Like you should be setting a timer in your phone for immediately when it opens. And there's a few reasons why. The first reason has to do with your seat selection. So like you said, you can select seats on either side of a row. And I think that's a great hack. Right. But I would say something that may be even better is usually when you look at the layout of an airplane, there's like sections that people can sit in. So there's like row 1 to 10, and then there's like 10 to 20, etc. And between those, sometimes there's a washroom, especially on bigger flights. Sometimes before, if you're sitting at like the front of one of those sections, there's a lot of leg room because there's like where your legs can go and then there's the bathrooms and then it's like a little bit of space. And so when the check-in opens, often they will open up those sections if they haven't been booked where people have paid for those seats with extra legroom. They'll open them up to the public because they have to fill the seats anyways. And you can get a seat with extra legroom. Yes, because I just have a lot of trouble justifying paying a lot of money for an upgrade. Like I'm not paying $76 for like 4 more inches of legroom. It's not happening for me. But when they open it up, sometimes you can get those paid seats for free, only if you're the first person to check in.
Right.
So that's my life hack. And I would say it works almost all of the time. Like I have been on 10 plus hour flights where I should not be the girl who's got the legroom seat. Like there are men in the back who probably waited to check in who are scrunched into a little seat, but I have as much room as I want. And it's worked probably on most of the flights that I've ever taken.
Yeah. Think about how much money you saved.
You're saving a lot of money and you're saving yourself. Like you're not going to get cramps when you're flying because you can, oh my gosh. Sorry, I just scared myself. I just remembered my most recent flying experience. I just have to share this before we dive in. I was flying to Mexico and I didn't have the opportunity to check in advance because I was flying with Flair. And so it was a really small flight. This is just my most recent flight to Mexico, like this week. So I was flying on an overnighter. Like the flight left at midnight and then I was getting there around 6 a.m. And so I was like, perfect, I'm just going to sleep. And when I sleep, I can't sleep sitting up. I have to put my head down on the tray in front of me and I'm like crunched over. So before I got on the flight, I had a meal, which is like kind of normal. Like it wasn't like a huge meal, but I ate. And I think that might play into why this happened. So I was like sleeping and then I woke up and I was fully blind. Like I could not see. No, my eyesight was white. Like I opened my eyes and all I could see was white and sparkles, but like I couldn't see the seat in front of me. I was really scared because I knew that when I had gone to sleep, it was dark in the plane and like the plane shouldn't be white. So it shouldn't be like really bright. Cause you know, sometimes you wake up and you've got like brightness in your eyes and you just like rub your eyes and you're fine. No.
Was your first thought, I'm in heaven? Like I died?
Kind of. I was like, what's wrong with me? Like, why is it so bright in here? It was really weird. But then I realized I had the worst stomach ache. Like my stomach hurt so bad. I was like, something is wrong. So I was like, I think I'm going to puke, which I've never puked on a plane before. You know, like we traveled through Italy together. Like I don't get motion sick. Like I'm good on trains, planes, everything like that. I'm usually fine. But I was like, what is wrong with me? I'm going to throw up. So I tried to stand up and I was in row 30 something. Like I was right near the back. Like I was probably 2 rows from the back. So I was like, I need to try to make it to the bathroom. And like, I'm trying to crawl my way to the bathroom. Like I stood up, like still unable to see. And I'm like feeling my way.
Which seat were you in?
Like probably 32 aisle seat, which was good.
Oh, aisle. Okay, perfect.
So I was able to like get up and just like start to like, I knew something was wrong. And I also felt so hot, but I was playing it off because I was like, you know what? I didn't have a carry-on. And so I only had a personal item, which is like the tiniest item. Like they actually measure it. So I had like this tiny little, I didn't have room to pack clothes, basically. I didn't have room to pack clothes because I packed camera gear. And so I wore 2 pairs of pants, plus a pair of spandex underneath, plus like 2 sweaters, plus a pair of overalls, plus my coat. So I was like, okay, it makes sense that I feel so hot because I'm wearing like 6 outfits in one.
Right.
Which is probably not smart to begin with.
That is crazy.
But anyways, as I'm trying to make it to the bathroom, I fully fainted. Like I think that I made it into the bathroom. Like I think I was able to just open, but I 100% lost consciousness, fully passed out.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It was really scary.
That is scary.
Yeah. And then I like woke up and I was like completely out of it. And then I was able to like, I don't even know fully how it went down because I like fully passed out, but then I was able to get help from the flight attendants. I'm in the back and they're helping me in the very back of the plane, like giving me water and gummies and like trying to get me to like sit with my feet up and all this stuff. And then I thought I was going to faint again. And then after I had some gummies and water, I was fine. But I fainted on the plane, and I think it has to do with the fact that I was scrunched over, like awkwardly. I was like, you know, when you lay with your head on the tray, like you look so dumb. I can't sleep sitting up. Like something's wrong with me. But yeah, anyways, I fully fainted, and now I'm scared of flying on planes. And had I been able to check in advance and have a room with a leg room, like maybe I wouldn't have been scrunched up and got like orthostatic hypotension or whatever the heck happened to me, and I wouldn't have fainted. Like, but
not worn 6 outfits.
Or yeah, so I don't know if it was the fact that I ate a big meal and then was scrunched over and I couldn't digest properly because like that's a really uncomfortable, unnatural position for my body and that's why I fainted. Or I don't know if it was the fact that I was overheating because I wore 6 outfits, or if it was just like a combination of factors. But anyways,
you survived.
I survived. I made it to Mexico.
That's scary,
I didn't
though.
faint again after that. Like I was completely fine. But just a heads up, if you plan on sleeping with your head down on the tray,
Yeah.
just like be aware that it's not a good position for your body and you might faint.
might
Not
pass
to
out.
make you scared. Anyways, that was totally off topic. We are going to move into the next section because I just spent way too much time on that. But we're going to move into the daily special. And this is the section where we talk about what's trending, what we're seeing, whether we're liking it, how we're feeling about it. And there's some interesting things that are trending right now.
Yeah, there sure is.
First one has to do with fashion.
It does.
Do you want to tell me about it?
So have you heard of barrel jeans?
Yes.
Have you?
But I don't know a lot about them other than I think they're weird.
Okay, so my sister was telling me about them. She's like, they're like Oompa jeans. I was like,
Oompa?
what are you talking about? And then on my For You page, sure enough, these barrel jeans show up. So they're like, I guess regular jeans essentially, like at the waist, and then they just go out and then like down to the ankle on the outside, but on the inside, they're straight down. If you can imagine
it kind
that.
of makes it look like your legs are like a circle. Like
Essentially.
like, it makes your legs look widest at the knee section
Yeah.
and skinny at the waist and skinny at the ankles
Yeah.
because your legs like they flare out and go in.
Yes.
That's so weird.
That's what I've seen
And
of them
is
anyways.
that why they're called barrel jeans?
I don't know why they're called barrel jeans, honestly.
How do you feel about them?
There's some girls who can pull them off for sure.
Have you seen girls who have pulled them off? Do you know anybody
Absolutely.
who owns them?
I don't.
Okay.
No. I think they're expensive. Like they're free people, so
Oh, so it's like specific to a brand. Maybe.
that's
I don't
all
know.
I've seen.
Okay.
I've seen people be like barrel jeans, free people, like you need them. But like then people will try them on and I'm like, I do not need them because those would look insane on me.
Will you be buying a pair?
I will not be buying a pair of barrel jeans.
Do you think your sister will be buying a pair?
No. I don't.
I don't think I'm going to be buying a pair either. I love jeans and I love different silhouettes of jeans and I try to be open-minded because I think of when I was younger, I remember being probably in 6th grade, maybe 5th grade, and I was driving to school with my mom. Like she was driving me, obviously. And I looked out the window and there was a middle school that we passed on the way to my elementary school. And there were kids wearing like skin tight jeans, like skinny jeans. And I vividly remember saying to my mom, I will never, ever wear skinny jeans. Those look so dumb.
No.
And then from like grade 8 until grade 12, all I wore was skinny jeans.
Yeah.
Like that was my outfit. And I remember thinking like, how could I ever say I would never wear them? Because I used to think they were so dumb.
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe we're going to be having this conversation now. And then in 3 years, you and I are going to be walking
We're
around
gonna
with
be
Oompa Loompa legs.
That's so valid because when mom jeans first became a thing, I was like, I will not be doing that. Like skinny jeans suit me best, whatever. Now all I wear is mom jeans. Or
Same.
like
I don't even own skinny jeans anymore.
Me neither, but I'm ready for them to come back. Like I really did love the skinny jean trend, if I'm being so honest.
But another trend that has to do with outfits and what you're wearing, and something that I think is steering a little bit away from trends and more towards suiting individual people, is the color analysis trend.
Right.
Have you heard of this?
I have. I've seen the filter on TikTok.
Yeah, I think that's what largely popularized it. So for people that don't know, the color analysis trend started from people saying there are certain colors that suit your skin tone and eye color and hair color best that you should be wearing to bring out your features and look your best all the time. And there are colors that don't complement you and you should avoid those. And it's categorized into a few different categories. There's summer, spring, winter, and autumn. I think I said that in the wrong order, but that's okay. And basically, they have different tones that apply to you based on your existing features. And you're supposed to stick within your color group. And I think there's like subcategories under each season, but you're supposed to stick to whatever your season is. So for example, if you're in autumn, it might be like mustard yellows and rustic oranges and muted greens, versus a spring might be like pastels, like a pastel pink and a blue and a yellow. So that's kind of the vibe. But I think the whole goal of it is for people to pick an outfit or pick a wardrobe that suits them.
Right.
And is this something that you personally have subscribed to, or do you approach it with a little bit of skepticism?
Well, the TikToks I've seen about it have been crazy transformations. Like girls who have been absolutely not following their color palette or whatever, and then they get the analysis done and they then dress based on that analysis and it makes them look so much better, like not washed out, just like so good. So honestly, I could subscribe. I could get behind this.
I think so too. Okay, something I find really interesting about it is I saw it first on TikTok. I had never heard of it before. And so I did the filter and I kind of put it out to the public, like, what do you think I am? Because when I looked at my closet, I found a common trend that I was only buying specific colors. And I wasn't doing it intentionally. I was just doing it because that's what I felt most confident in. So I was like, I'm really curious to see if these are just colors that I have a bias towards, like I really like these specific colors, or if it's because they suit my skin tone. So I posed the question to my followers and I asked, what color do you think suits me best, or what season? And they came back saying that I was a summer, which is blues, and it's hard to describe without having, like, if you're listening audio only, it's just, I'm a summer. And it's funny because those are the exact colors that were in my closet. So it just turned out naturally that the colors that I felt most confident in happened to be the colors that people told me. I mean, it wasn't a professional, although some people commented saying they were a professional. It just happened that those were the colors that people said suited me best. So I think that there definitely is validity in this, but I think something that makes people skeptical about it is that they might like a certain color, for example, say mustard yellow, and that's not in their season. Do you think if there's a color that somebody likes wearing personally, but it's not within their season, do you think that they should avoid wearing it?
I mean, if you're like wearing yellow because it makes you happy, then wear yellow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like if you're getting dressed every day and you're like, I hate my closet, I'm not inspired by my outfits, whatever it may be, like I'm not feeling confident, then like take those colors out, you know?
The next topic that I've seen trending a lot is something called lucky girl syndrome. And it is something I full-heartedly stand behind. And I think that I unintentionally subscribed to lucky girl syndrome before it was even made popular on the internet. Have you heard of it before?
I have heard of lucky girl syndrome, and I also live by this. I will drive to work and just talk to the universe and be like, I am so lucky. I get everything I want. I get everything I deserve. All those affirmations.
I love it. Okay, so anybody who doesn't know what lucky girl syndrome is, it is basically putting out into the universe that you think you are the luckiest girl on earth.
Yeah.
Like it is literally, if you are going to assume something, instead of assuming the worst, it's assuming the best. Like if somebody's going to get something, it's going to be me.
Yeah.
If somebody's going to get a promotion at work, why can't it be me? If somebody's going to win whatever thing, it's going to be me. Somebody has to win it. I am so lucky. The universe works out in my favor. That
Exactly.
is it. And it sounds crazy and it might even sound conceited, but I think there's huge value in believing in yourself and always believing that the best version of things are always happening in your favor.
Absolutely.
And it's more than just being optimistic. I think personally, I think that it's putting out these good vibrations and it's putting out this ability to manifest basically whatever you want. Because have you done much manifestation or have you looked into it at all?
Yes, I have.
Yes.
It's something I kind of keep private, but like I am big into manifesting and like spirituality and all that stuff. And I like truly believe it through and through.
Me too. I could talk for hours and hours and hours on manifestation, and I'm not going to because I could just go on forever. But basically, the concept of manifestation to me is putting out what you want to receive.
Mm-hmm.
It is the law of attraction in general. Basically, it's the concept that if you want something, that you can get it. And it's believing that you are deserving of that. To summarize it, it's putting out the energy that you want back.
Yeah. I think energy is like a good way to go with it. Like if you're operating on this higher frequency, higher vibration of energy, like you're going to attract higher vibration things, which are like equal better things. You know what I mean? But if you're like always low, being like, oh man, nothing ever goes my way, then you're going to attract bad things and like negative things are going to continue to happen.
Exactly. It's like if you think of somebody who always has something negative happening to them, like, oh, this happened and then that happened and then this happened. I feel like sometimes it comes from a lack mindset. It's because they are already in the mindset that everything is going wrong for them. Mm-hmm. And so that is the energy that they are getting back to themselves. And it's just like if you have an abundance mindset, like I have love and I have people who care for me and I'm able to be powerful and I'm capable of doing good things, that is what's going to come back to you because that is what you believe. And I think there's so much to it. And having this abundance mindset instead of a lack mindset. So thinking, for example, let's think career-wise, I am a successful podcaster and I have people who are going to listen to me. I think if I have that mindset going into something like even this podcast here today, by believing that I've got listeners who value and like want to listen to the podcast, that is what I am going to attract and receive. Exactly. Versus if I were to hop on this podcast today and go, people hate this podcast.
Yeah.
Like, I really want to be a big podcaster, but this isn't a good podcast. That mindset to even start with is allowing myself to put those blocks up so that I can't receive what I want to be receiving.
Blocks are huge. Like, if you even say something like as a joke, quote unquote joke, like, you're putting that block up. Like, the universe is going to take that for what it is and block it for you. Like, you just have to be so clear and so open to what you want, and it'll come.
Exactly. Like, another mindset thing I've been putting in place that kind of has to do with lucky girl syndrome is something that I've been calling no negative self-talk. And basically, it's not allowing yourself to talk negatively to yourself. So when you do something that doesn't work out, don't say, oh, I'm so stupid. Because your mind is hearing that. Your mind doesn't know the difference between truth and a lie. Your mind doesn't know what's real or what's not real because it's just taking information in. And so when you say, oh, I'm so dumb, your brain is hearing, oh, I'm so dumb.
Yeah,
oh,
your
I'm
subconscious.
So dumb. But if you were to say, oh, that was a mistake, but next time it'll be better. Your brain is teaching itself next time it's going to be better and that it's going to be okay and that it's going to work out. And so no negative self-talk. That's a big thing. Same with, for example, you're saying that about self-image, like, oh, I'm so ugly. If you keep telling yourself that you're ugly, your brain is going to start to believe it. But
absolutely.
If you start telling yourself, I'm not ugly, you know, like, I'm confident in myself. I feel good about my body. My body is capable of doing amazing things. Your brain is going to start to believe that. And in the future, it's like the lucky girl syndrome. Good things are going to start happening to your body because you're believing in it. I think it's just this crazy spiral. Anyways, I'm going on a tangent with
No, I love this topic.
But I think we should move into something that is a little bit more dramatic than just being lucky.
Let's do it.
We are going to move into the On the Rocks section of this podcast.
Here we go.
This is the section where we talk about everything that is dramatic, the gossip, the crazy stories, the things that people really listen for. And we're going to start on a really strong topic that we haven't talked about on this podcast yet before, and it is exes.
Yep, sure is.
We have a lot to say about
we have a lot
exes.
To say.
And Kendall has a recent experience where she has gotten out of a long-term relationship, but you're doing well.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm thriving.
And is this a topic that you want to dive into?
Let's dive into it. I've been waiting for this one.
Oh my gosh. All right. Actually, Kendall, when she went through this, she's like, I just went through a breakup. Get me on the podcast.
I was like, this is crazy and people need to hear about it.
People do. So tell me, what's going on?
So I was in a relationship for 4 years with this boy. We met in school when I lived in Kelowna. We lived together. We had a dog together. One day he came home and just said, you know, I'm done. And I was like, okay. And then we did break up. And then he came back and he was like, no, like, I want you. And I was like, okay, just going with the flow, you know? So I came home one day and he thought I went out to Drumheller to see a girl there, which I did not, but I'll tell that story later. And he essentially just told me so much more than I expected to hear. And he said, for the past 4 years, I've lied to you, manipulated you, gaslit you with nothing more than the intention of this being a game and to hurt you.
Is he a psychopath? He said that to you?
He said that to me. And I just sat there in shock.
And you were with this man for 4 years.
4 years. Lived together, have a dog. I thought I was looking at a stranger. I was like, okay. Anyways, continue talking. And he was like, yeah, like, I've been nothing but a scum of the earth for the past 4 years, this entire relationship. Like, I have not put my full effort into this. I thought that every girlfriend acts the way that you do. I didn't realize how good I had it with you and how much you did for me and us in this relationship. And I did do a lot for him. Like,
you were a full wife.
I loved him to my fullest capability, truly. Like, I just thought he was like closed off emotionally. So I was like, okay, like, I can be there for you to grow through this, you know? But that was just not the case. So he worked out of town a lot. And one time he was working away in Drumheller. And I just went to bed like nothing that night because I was used to that, you know? He worked away a lot. And I woke up at 4 a.m. with this gut feeling, gut instinct, whatever you want to call it, to check his location because I had it. So I checked his location on Find My iPhone and it was at a house. And he was supposed to be at a hotel.
Oh.
So I call him, and this was 4 a.m. I don't know if I said that. And he doesn't answer. So I call him again, and he declines the call.
Uh-oh.
So I call him.
So he's awake.
He's declining the call.
Yeah.
So I watch his Find My iPhone little blue dot walk from the back of this house to the front of the house.
You can literally see him moving within the house.
I can see him walking in this house out to the street. And he doesn't call me until he gets to the street and he's like, what do you want? And I was like, what? Where are you? And he's like, oh, I'm just leaving the hotel. And I was like, no, you're not. You're at a house. And he was like, I'm not at a house. I'm at a hotel. And he was just so adamant that he was not at this house. He was at his hotel. And he was like, I'm at a different hotel than the guys because like the other guys I'm working with couldn't get in at this hotel. And I was like, what is so busy in Drumheller that the hotel is booked up? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And for people who don't know, Drumheller is a small town, like a very small town in Alberta.
Very small. So anyways, I'm like, okay, whatever. I believe him because why wouldn't I believe him? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I've been with this guy for 4 years. Anywho, the long story short, I find out that he thought I went to Drumheller to visit this girl at that house that he had slept with. So then he got home, and that's when we broke up in November because he was like, I guess, feeling guilty about it. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
And then was like, no, like, I want you back because he wanted, I guess, the comfortability of our relationship and everything that we had built together. Like, you know, like the house, the dog. And then he thought that I visited the girl and found everything out. So he was like, okay, like.
Is that why he revealed everything?
Yes.
He thought you talked to her?
He thought I went to her house and that's why he told me everything. And I was like, I was actually just at a
gosh.
friend's house.
Did you know who this girl was?
No, I have no idea. But I asked, I was like, so there was multiple girls I found out. And I asked if I knew any of them. And I knew of one of them. Because like that was the girl I was never supposed to worry about.
Oh,
you know?
No.
And the other ones, he was like, I don't even know their names. So he was just, I guess, out of town.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
I am so sorry. You don't deserve that at all.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like at first, obviously, like that hurts. Like I was with this person for 4 years, but to me, that 4 years like wasn't obviously like a lie in a game like it was to him. So
yeah,
I just got to take it for what it was to me and move on to something better.
And how are you feeling now?
Now I'm just so excited. I feel so free and excited for like to be with somebody who actually wants to be with me and chooses me every day and doesn't do those things.
Yeah, you deserve somebody who gives you the world. And I literally can't believe, like, well, I can, but it's mind-blowing to me the fact that he's like, yeah, I just like gaslighted you the entire relationship. And like, how do you live with somebody and see them every single day and have a dog with them and tell them that you're in love with them and not have some sort of guilt where you're feeling bad enough to like leave that person? Do you know what I mean?
I ask myself that, or I have asked myself that a lot. Like I did a lot of things for him. Like he needed help paying for school, so I loaned him some money to help him pay for school.
Oh no.
And I got paid back now, so I just want to make that clear. But like, just like things like that, I'm like, he was actively acting this way while this happened.
Oh no.
And like still like cheated on me. Like, you know what I mean? It's just crazy. Okay, can I just read you a letter he left me? I feel like that will speak for itself.
Yeah, okay. Give it to me.
Okay, so he left this on the counter a couple of days after we broke up. Kendall, I know none of this matters now, but I can't begin to express how much of a piece of shit I have been to you for the last 4 years. I have belittled you, manipulated you, made you waste 4 years of your life with somebody so disrespectful and full of shit. I have nonstop lied to you since the day we met and constantly made you feel like you were crazy and just overreacting when you have been right the entire time. I have made many brutal, stupid mistakes and decisions that have been against every word I've said to you. You loved, cared, and were very patient to me. You deserve nothing of what I've given to you, and no amount of apologies could ever make up for all I have done. I have major problems that I do not know how to control and have played you like a puppet the entire relationship, for no reason other than just to hurt you. You're an amazing human who deserves more than this world can offer after what I have put you through. I need serious help in all areas of my life, and I'm sorry I can never do the work to be the man that you deserve and need. I can make a million excuses for my actions, but there is truly no excuses for what I did to you. I did it without a care in the world for you and your feelings. I have completely fucked up, and I know I have given you trust issues no one should ever have. You have been right all along. I don't have a care in the world for anyone but myself. I am selfish, a liar, a manipulator, a scum of the earth that truly deserves no happiness for the shit I have done. My heart melts knowing that all we have and all that we have made was all for nothing, but a game being played by only me. I wish I can go back in time and steer you away from me to save you from all the misery and heartbreak. I owe you a million apologies and explanations, but there is no good reasoning or thought behind everything I have done other than I'm a massive piece of shit. I am so sorry, and I hope nothing for the best for you and your family. I know you will accomplish great things in your life and will find a man that is real, honest, loving, and treats you like a princess, like I never did, because that is what you deserve and have earned after being with me. Again, I am so sorry, and I hate myself for being just outright insane towards you and our relationship. I wish you nothing but the best for the rest of your life because you had nothing but the worst from me for many years. Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I wish people could see my face right now. I don't even know how to reply to that.
I also did not know what to do to that.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
so you're not being dramatic. Like, he literally, that's his words.
Those were his words.
Oh my gosh.
I had suspicions the whole time, but like, obviously I loved him. There's still love for him in me. Like, you know, like I wanted to believe the best, see the best in him. And that's what I did the whole time. Like, the person I see now is a stranger. Like,
oh my
crazy.
gosh.
Those words are crazy.
I can't imagine.
I truly hope he is able to, you know, like heal and grow and become a better person.
Yeah.
Because this was crazy. But yeah, I think a big thing that I have wrapped my head around is that I was in love with like who I thought he was and obviously not who he actually is as a person.
Yeah.
So that's what has helped me so much.
It's good that you can recognize that for sure.
Absolutely.
I think that that's something I can really relate to in a lot of my past relationships, being in love with the thought of who I thought somebody was and like the thought of our future even,
right?
But not who was actually in front of me.
Right.
I actually
have a situation like this, right?
I have a story. Actually, this isn't a guy that I really saw a future with, but it's a guy who I did date. And it's a pretty crazy story. I might as well share it.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So I was seeing this guy and I wasn't seeing him for too long. Like, we didn't date for a long time or anything like that. It was more of like a short-term relationship for good reason. But basically, there was this moment where I realized I could not be with this man. And I need to share it with you.
I'm ready.
There's this guy I was seeing who, he was a little bit older than me. He had like slid into my DMs and that's how we first started talking. And we started dating and it was a lot of fun when we were together. Like, we'd go out to places together and like go for dinners and it was just like fun. It was a good time generally until I realized that I actually think he is crazy. And that's that's something strong to call somebody. Yeah. But when I tell you what this man did, you're going to understand. Basically, I wasn't super close with him when I started seeing him. And so one day I was at his house and I saw this photo that was framed in his living room. By the way, I'm sharing this from my memory. I've tried to block this out for the most part. So I'm going to share this as good as I can remember and recall it. But basically, there was a photo that was framed in his house. And it wasn't like a typical, you know, like smiling photo with friends or anything like that. It had like text on it. And I didn't want to be like awkward. I was like still in that like really awkward phase when you're like starting to see a guy, but you don't want to like go out of your way and like, I don't know, just like inconvenience him or be weird or like, do you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
And so there was a moment when he went to the bathroom and I went up to this photo and I was like, what is it? Because it's got like text on it and it's got like a little photo. So I take a photo on my phone and go back and sit on the couch. So I wasn't being weird so I could look at it later when I wasn't with him because I was like, if it's weird, I don't want to have to start a conversation about it. You know, like we're just trying to watch a movie, you know? So I look at my photos after the fact. I don't even have this photo anymore. I have to find it. So he framed a Kijiji ad that he had printed off and put on his wall. Oh. And this Kijiji ad shows a really nice car, like $100,000 car that he is selling. So he is the seller of this vehicle. Beside the vehicle in the photo on the ad is a girl who's standing, like leaning on the car, I'm pretty sure. And there's like a purple devil emoji over her face. Oh. So I can't see it. Okay. So he's selling the car and I start reading the description and I cannot believe what I'm reading. It says, I'm selling this expensive car that I bought for my now ex-girlfriend. Story time. It's like such a smugly written post. Right. Story time. Imagine this. You go to Bali, get swept off your feet, have the best time of your life, meet the girl of your dreams. She's from Finland. You convince her to come home, move in together. Life is great. You buy her this vehicle because you thought you loved her. She thinks it's super cool. Well, guess what? It's not. Because one night I went out with the boys and came home and she used my drunk ass fingerprint to get into my phone and saw that I had been talking about her in the group chat. I'm pretty sure that he had sent her nudes to the group chat thinking that it was being flattering.
Oh my God.
Which is disgusting.
That is
so
disgusting.
horrible. That's like
criminal.
I'm pretty sure that's against the
Yeah.
law. Anyways, so she, in my opinion, rightfully was upset. But as the ad goes, she didn't realize that that's such a compliment that I was just bragging about her to the boys. So I booked her a next day flight back to her homeland. She can go back to Finland and she's gone. All the proceeds from this vehicle will be going towards cocaine and strippers this stampede.
Oh my God.
First of all, I don't even know where to start. First of all, I didn't know he did coke.
Yep. Can
Second
relate.
of all, I am immediately so disgusted.
No
like,
kidding.
extremely disgusted. Like, even if that's not exactly how it went down, I don't care how it went down.
Yeah.
The fact that he is talking about somebody who I feel like he thought he had a future with, he convinced her to come to Canada. He lived with her, you know, what on earth? What on earth?
No.
But,
That's
and he was
insane.
so proud of this ad that he didn't just post it in the moment to be
framed
spiteful.
it.
He printed it off and framed it in his house to laugh about.
That is crazy.
Is that not psychopathic?
So what did you do? Did you stay with this guy?
No, I did not stay with him.
I mean, like,
Actually, I saw it and I was like, I can't stay with this man. We have no future together. He's crazy.
right.
That's what went through my head immediately. I'm pretty sure I did confront him about it. And also, I was like, we need to break up. Like, things are not going to plan. And I was also like, I'm pretty sure you're cheating on me. Because
yeah.
I think he was. I'm actually like 90% confident he was.
Oh, I
and that
hate
he
men.
married that woman and now they're divorced.
Oh my
but
God.
I shouldn't spill too much.
Jesus.
All within a year. Anyways, basically, I was like, I sat down with him and I was like, I think we need to break up. And then he's like, no, I'm so sorry. Like, I've changed. Things are different. Then the next day, he breaks up with me.
Oh.
The fact I didn't just hold my ground and break up with him and leave him in that moment, I'm still whatever. I feel like I planted the seed in his head, like we need to break up, and then he needed to have the upper hand and be like, actually, I'm gonna be the one to do it.
Yeah.
But
he seems like that type of guy.
can you imagine a man? Well, yeah, you can because you've dated one that bad. All I can say is I know you haven't found your man yet, but he's out there because men like Hamish do exist.
Yes.
And Hamish has completely redeemed what love is in my eyes. And he's better than anything I could have imagined. And your man is out there. And to anybody listening who has a crazy ex story, because I know that there's a million of you out there with crazy ex stories, I promise you that there is better out there. And there's a man who will treat you right. And that's what you deserve. So do not settle with these crazy men
yeah.
who don't give you the world.
No.
Yeah.
Trust that. I'm big on the universe. Just trust the universe is gonna put the right people in your life.
And that's on lucky girl syndrome.
that is on lucky girl syndrome.
Yeah. Oh, what a crazy topic. But we're going to move into even crazier topics, but maybe that don't have as much drama involved. We're going to move into the shaken, not stirred section of this podcast. And this is the section where we talk about things that shook us up this week, whether it's a fact or a thing or something we saw. There's some crazy things. And one of them is something that just absolutely blew my mind. And I don't know if I even believe it personally. I don't know if there's truth to it because I saw it on TikTok.
Okay.
But I have to share it with you.
I believe everything I see on TikTok. So
Me too. It's my
let's hear
toxic
it.
trait. Okay. So the video I saw was a cruise ship worker who was talking about how when there's an ice cream party on the ship, it often means that someone's died. Which,
sorry?
how does that correlate?
Yeah.
Let me explain it to you. People die on cruises. It's a really horrible fact, but apparently it's actually quite common that people will die on cruises.
Like by jumping into the water?
No, just like old age.
Oh.
Like,
You know what? I feel like old
I mean-
people go on cruises a lot. So
they might also die from jumping into the water, but I feel like the demographic who's catching cruise ships is often an older demographic who want a trip that's already well planned out for them, like what you do,
right.
but in a different sense. And so they're catching cruise ships. And so it's not uncommon that somebody might just have a heart attack and die, or die of old age, or whatever it is. And because of that, cruise ships need to be prepared for people potentially dying on board. And so what they have is morgues. They've got a morgue on the cruise ship. According to what I saw on TikTok, nearly every cruise ship, if it's going to be for an extended amount of time, has a morgue to be prepared if someone dies. And a lot of these morgues, the worker was saying, will hold like anywhere from like 3 to 7 people. Because it's really common that people will die on cruise ships, which is a really horrible fact, but it's true. And so because of this, they will often freeze the bodies in the morgue, but there are certain instances where sometimes more people will die on a cruise ship than they have room for in the morgue. But they still need to preserve the body in order to give it back to the family and host a funeral for them.
Right.
And so they can't just throw it overboard. They need to put it somewhere. And if there's not room in the existing morgue, they have to use the freezer, is what this worker was saying.
So they put it in the ice cream freezer.
Yeah. And so that's the same freezer where you can find ice cream and other frozen goods that they have on the cruise ship to give to people. And if they need to make room, because room is running short, the first thing to go is often ice cream. And that's why they will host an ice cream party where everybody gets free ice cream on the cruise. We're giving out free ice cream today. It's because they need to get rid of the ice cream in order to make room for a body.
That is crazy.
I don't know if it's true, but if it is, I'm absolutely shook.
I am also shook because if I was on the cruise, I'd be like, free ice cream. Like, I love ice cream.
Would that even cross your mind that somebody just died?
Absolutely not. But imagine the family of the person that died knowing that their person died. But do you think they know that they're going into the ice cream freezer?
Probably not. I'm sure that is not public knowledge. And then it's like, also, it'd be horrible. Like, what if you had 5 days at sea before the next port and the person dies like within the first 30 minutes on the cruise ship and they've already left? Like, is that person just chilling in the freezer for 5 days as the family continues living on the cruise?
You would think there would be like a smaller boat or something that could come and pick up this body.
I don't know.
Like a better plan than let's just give away the ice cream.
See, I don't know how it works 100%, but I thought that was a little bit crazy to me personally.
That is crazy. I'm shook.
Okay, the next one is something that is a really interesting concept to me, and it has to do with thinking forward to the future. Right now, I think we're in an age where a lot of people are trying to fit a beauty standard. Right. They're getting Botox, fillers, they're trying to stay youthful and young and preserve their skin. And the concept is, what if in the future, being ugly, per se, which might not actually be ugly, but let's just say being ugly or looking old, which don't necessarily correlate at all, just so you know, will be fashionable because everybody is trying so hard right now to fit a vision. They're trying to look a certain way that everybody's going to look the same. And then one day they're going to look at somebody and be like, wow, look at her smile lines. Look at those beautiful crow's feet. Look at how she's aged and you can see the expressions on her face and look how different she is.
Yeah.
You know, or look
I've
at her
seen
unique
that already,
features.
honestly.
Yeah. And it's going to be refreshing to see somebody who hasn't conformed to society's view of what beautiful is and instead embrace those individual unique characteristics of themselves. And that is going to become what is fashionable.
I can get behind this 100%. I think everybody should do what makes them happy, obviously. But like, people who can't afford to keep up with all of these trends and Botox and whatever to keep them looking youthful, let them age in a natural way. Like, I love that. I think that this is a really good trend.
Absolutely.
Quote, unquote.
And on that topic, I actually have recently heard people talking about how they think that it's crazy how we are holding people, but especially women, to a specific standard right now that was once only attainable by movie stars or celebrities.
Yeah.
Like, for example, if you go back and you look at movies from the 90s, like rom-coms, a lot of the people, and this is what made it so charming, is they just looked like normal people.
Yeah.
They didn't have fillers. They had really unique features. They just looked like your average person off the street and they didn't look like supermodels.
Yeah.
But now the average person and these celebrities who are now being in these movies are being held up to this standard of the celebrity that before, when only celebrities were getting work done to look a certain way, now normal people, I say, you know what I mean.
Right.
Are being held up to the same standard to try to fit this beauty standard. And
yeah.
How do you feel about this?
I've noticed this in like reality TV, like The Bachelor and stuff like that.
Yes.
I was listening to a podcast recently and they were saying how the first couple seasons of The Bachelor, you know, like the girls were just like, they were beautiful, but like just average looking girls. And now it's like size 0, supermodel. It's just crazy.
To fit a cookie cutter.
Yes. The standards are crazy right now. Even though like my little sister and cousins were in town recently and like they didn't have an awkward stage, I feel.
Yeah.
Like they are gorgeous and they are just up with the trends. And I'm like, where is your awkward stage? Like
I had an awkward stage for sure.
Same.
When I had green braces and just a unibrow.
A unibrow.
I feel like people these days don't go through that stage.
Absolutely not.
And I think a lot of it has to do with social media really forcing these standards onto people, whereas before you'd maybe consume them occasionally, like when you'd watch TV, but now social media is so integrated into our daily lives.
Yeah.
It's become an expectation, which
yeah.
is crazy. It's just crazy.
It's crazy.
I'm shook. We're going to move into the bottoms up section of this podcast. Woo! And that is the section where we talk about what we are obsessed with, basically, what we are consuming and what we can't get enough of, what we want more of. And there's a lot of things that I'm obsessed with. Let's hear it. The very first thing, and this is my number one thing for this episode, silicone straws. Okay, plastic straws, canceled. Okay, canceled. Yep. We get it. Save the turtles.
Save the turtles.
I get it. I have actually a lot to say about that. I don't think that straws are the biggest problem. I think a lot of it has to do with these companies, and we should be targeting these massive manufacturers and holding the companies that are contributing to these issues liable. But for consumers, when consumers want to make a difference, obviously plastic straws canceled, okay?
Yeah.
Then metal straws became huge.
Right.
I hate metal straws.
I also hate metal straws.
I'll tell you why. I'm always scared I'm going to break my teeth on them because I was kind of a straw chewer before and I can't chew a metal straw.
No.
Okay. Also, I feel like they taste like metal.
Yeah.
And they're just not fun to drink out of.
No.
I'm being picky, and that is such a first world privilege problem. I'm very aware of that. But I recently started using silicone straws.
Okay.
Game changer. Game changer. Because I can chew on it, but it's not going to wreck it.
Yep.
I can reuse it, pack it, fold it up really nice and small to put into my bag.
Smart.
And I love them. They are a good drinking experience. They're not cold on my lips like a metal straw. They don't taste like metal. They have no taste at all. They're basically a plastic straw that I can use over and over and over again.
I love this for you.
Yeah.
Do you like pack one with you wherever you go?
I do. I've just recently started doing it, and I'm going to do it for the rest of my life.
Nice.
Yeah.
I personally am a glass straw girly.
Glass.
Yeah. One too many times have I drank through a metal or silicone straw and got the
rotten chunk.
Yes.
Oh!
Like bits of something.
I've done that, and literally I want to gag thinking about it. Oh my gosh.
It ruins the experience. I can't finish whatever I'm drinking. So I had to switch to glass because I have trust issues.
They need to make clear silicone straws.
Yes.
If you're out there and you sell these,
please let us know.
Let us know. Sponsor the show. I'll be your biggest fan. What are you obsessed with right now?
So right now and always, I'm obsessed with concerts. I will buy concert tickets before knowing how I'm going to get to this location.
Like in different cities?
Yes. Like I've traveled to, me and my sister bought Harry Styles tickets in LA and had to figure out last minute how we were going to get there.
And did you make it?
We did.
Yay!
It was the best time ever. We got tickets to Niall Horan in Toronto in the summer. We just recently booked stuff for that. So like we're going.
Unreal.
I'm a big One Direction girly.
Did you see them when they were all together?
No.
I did. Except Zayn wasn't part of them.
Oh.
So I almost saw them all together.
Yeah. One of my dating app prompts is first round is on me if you can name all members of One Direction.
Hey, that's a good one. I saw Niall Horan on Raya one time.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm on Raya right now.
You are?
I am.
Oh my gosh. Look for him. That was like
he has a girlfriend now.
That was like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So
okay, another thing I'm obsessed with though, my Owala water bottle.
I've heard so much about Owala.
I should be a spokesperson for them because I'm obsessed. I have two. One of them is with me at all times.
Yeah.
One of them came with me to Italy. Another came to Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just take these things on trips because they deserve it. They're so good.
They deserve to go on vacation.
They do.
Okay, what makes it so good?
So you can sip through the straw or you can tip it and chug it back.
So it's like both?
It's both.
But they're together?
They are together. I
You've
think they have them
influenced
at Costco sometimes. 2 packs for $40.
I need a Costco membership.
You can use mine. I'll take you.
Okay, deal. Sweet. Okay. But we are nearing the end of the show, and we touched on some pretty crazy topics.
We sure did.
And we could have gone so much deeper into the Exes crazy. Maybe in the future we'll have to do a deep dive.
Yeah, just a whole Exes episode.
Oh my
I have
gosh.
so many stories.
Me too, because that's just one guy I was talking about. I could have talked about all the others, which
Yeah.
might even be worse.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
How could it be worse than that?
No, I'll tell you one day.
Okay.
It's crazy. So thank you to everybody who took the time to listen to this episode today. I got an email from Pod Status that I actually hit top 6 in Canada for entertainment news podcasts in the last 30 days.
What?
Yeah, so
That's so exciting.
I don't know if it's legit or not, but I am grateful either way for every single person who has listened to this podcast. We have just hit over 100 followers and subscribers to the show.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm literally so excited because my goal for the year, like for the entire year, was to hit 100 followers for the show. And we hit it. So thank you to all of you, whether you're a follower or not. Thank you to everybody who gave us a 5-star review because we are almost at 30 of them. Thanks to all of you who are still here listening to us go on and on and on. And thank you, Kendall, for coming on this show. I'm so glad that you could come on and join me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
And talk about your crazy experiences. I'm so glad you could dive in and not cry because after a relationship, I'm a wreck. So I'm proud of you for being as strong as you are.
I'm living my best life, truly.
She is. We're going to go out next weekend and it's going to be a good time because she deserves to have fun.
Heck yeah.
And let loose.
Everybody come out. We don't know where we're going.
We don't know. We have no plans yet.
But
Chappy Hour Social Club.
Yep.
Let's do it. Anyways, until next time, cheers!